Hello, everyone. Good morning. My name is Barry Heidowitz. I'm the Director of Education Labs at XtremeLabs. This presentation is part of the series of live recorded online information sessions that XtremeLabs runs specifically for the MCT community to help provide helpful information that might not be readily available from other resources. Let me know if you or your colleagues are interested in speaking in future events like this or other webinars. We have these for MCTs, and then we also have more general sessions for instructors and training companies. So additionally, let me know if you have any questions about labs, courseware, exam vouchers, or services offered by XtremeLabs. I'll put my contact info in the chat window. Today's webinar is on AI for business and BlockSkill ERP. Now I'll hand it off to our presenter, Derek from ITG Corp. Thanks, Derek.
Hi, thanks, Barry. Thanks. Hi, good morning, everyone. Welcome to this MCT Meetup for AI for Business. My name is Derek Garcia. I will be your presenter today. I would like to thank you for being here today. Today we're going to be covering everything that has to do with AI for business, or everything that I can reach into concerning AI for business. And then after that, we're going to talk a little bit about what the ERP platform for BlockSkill does and what it is. If you have any questions, you can write them down in the Q&A, and I think you'll get some answers shortly. So first, I want to cover what this looks like from the standpoint of Microsoft. So this is all part of the Microsoft AI Engineer path through the Learn modules that they provide. And as we know, well, Microsoft Learn provides a variety of modules and a learning path for individuals that are interested in becoming AI engineers. And we know that this structure and the services of the educational services, they change over time. So it's always a good idea to check on the latest information every 2 weeks or so. But we're going to get a general idea of what a typical AI engineer learning path will include. So this diving a little bit into it, we have the AZ900 and there's AI 900. There's a whole series of foundational courses, as you know. The foundations of AI, they typically cover the fundamental concepts of artificial intelligence, which includes machine learning, deep learning, and all the basic terminology that's used in that field. And the course also provides an overview of how AI systems learn and how they make decisions. Apart from that, well, you'll see as you move into the AI 900, you'll look at how AI engineers, they do need to have very strong programming skills, often in languages like Python. So within the modules inside AI 900, you might cover the basics of some Python programming and its application in developing AI solutions. So you could also get like an introduction to popular libraries and frameworks like TensorFlow and PyTorch. And this is all tied into the whole Azure fundamentals aspect of Microsoft Learn. So you can take all of that information about AI and the basics of AI and see how it works with Azure, which includes creating and managing resources and looking at the key services that are relevant to AI. And that's setting the stage so that you can integrate your AI solutions into an Azure environment. So when you walk into designing and implementing your Azure AI solutions, then you dive deeper into Azure's machine learning services. So that includes understanding the components of Azure machine learning, and then looking at the different algorithms and looking at how to train and deploy machine learning modules or models on the Azure platform. And from then you would dive into more generative AI solutions with the OpenAI service and looking at cognitive services. So you'll see pre-built AI models for different tasks, things like image recognition, speech recognition, language understanding, and other things. And you're going to be covering the integration of those services into applications, which is going to make it easier for developers to add AI capabilities without having to build a whole model from scratch. On top of that, then you're going to look at the Azure AI platform. So the Azure AI platform, that platform is building on the fundamentals. And when you dive into that part of the module, you'll cover advanced topics related to Azure's AI platform. That could include working with customized models, optimizing performance, and also deploying end-to-end AI workflows using Azure services. And you would dive into deep learning, which, as we know, is a subset of machine learning, and that involves more of the use of neural networks with multiple layers. In that module, you focused on advanced concepts that are inside deep learning, like using your Azure resources to train complex models and then deploying them for real-world applications. And apart from that, you'll dive into NLPs, which we're going to talk about now briefly, and finally, we'll cover some responsible AI and ethical considerations. You need to be aware of the ethical implications of your work. So we'll cover topics, or you would cover topics of fairness, transparency, accountability, and other considerations for making sure that your AI systems are developed and deployed responsibly. Let's just dive a little bit deeper into these different workloads. In an overview sense, I just mentioned, you have machine learning. So that's, again, machine learning is basically involving training algorithms on data that's provided to make predictions, classifications, and decisions without them being explicitly programmed. So this involves tasks like supervised learning, unsupervised learning, and reinforcement learning. Then you have deep learning in itself, or I don't have it here, but deep learning is a subset of this. As I said before, it's a deep neural networks, so which is very powerful for tasks like I said, image and speech recognition, which is tied into NLP. NLP focuses more on enabling the machine to understand, interpret, and generate human language. Applications for this, you've been in touch with a lot of them. Basically, it's chatbots, language translation, sentiment analysis, and voice recognition, which ties into the whole computer vision aspects of it. So the computer vision workload involves teaching a machine to interpret and understand the visual information from the world, which enables it to take on tasks like image and video recognition, object detection, and facial recognition. Then we have speech recognition. So the goal here is obviously to enable the machine to recognize and interpret spoken language. Applications for this are going to include in very efficient voice assistants, transcription services, and also, excuse me. Yeah, and voice recognition. So looking at the vision part, which is, the reinforcement learning part, which I'm actually very interested in. So the reinforcement learning aspect is concerned with training a model to make sequences of decisions by learning from interactions within an environment. So this is already used a lot in robotics and game playing and autonomous systems. If you've interacted with that, it's a very interesting aspect of the whole machine learning workloads. And you have predictive analytics, which involves using any historical data and statistical algorithms so that you can predict future events. This is already out there. It's been applied for a few years now in finance, in healthcare, and marketing. We have anomaly detections, which is, it's used for trying to find out, any abnormal patterns or any outliers in data, which is obviously super useful for fraud detection, for network security and system monitoring. And the finality of all this, or it's not actually mentioned here, but it's going to dive into robotics. So AI is going to be used, and it's already being used to power robots and autonomous systems, which is going to obviously enable them to perceive their environment, to make decisions, and to perform repetitive tasks without having a constant human intervention. So these workloads, they often overlap, and they're also combined to create a more sophisticated AI application. So it's not like you choose one workload. You could do it, but ideally they would all come together. But the choice of the workload when it comes towards a business goal is going to depend on the specific problem that you have at hand and your desired outcome. Without, we have knowledge mining here at the end. So knowledge mining is speaking to the process of extracting any valuable insight, any pattern, any knowledge from very large volumes of unstructured data. And that data can include text, images, videos, and any other form of information that's unstructured. So the goal here in knowledge mining is to transform all that raw data into an actionable knowledge that you can use to make some sort of informed decision, maybe improve a certain process, or just gain a deeper understanding of a particular subject. So, and that's tied into to data sources, to NLP. It's tied into text and data analysis, knowledge graphs. So this is actually one of the most common approaches in knowledge mining. So you can use graphs to represent entities and their relationships inside a structured form. And that's going to make it easier to navigate and understand any complex information. So it's got a lot of applications in the real world. So in a slightly, I guess I would say redundant sense, machine learning as in a general sense is a whole field of artificial intelligence that is basically focused on the algorithms and the models that allow computers to learn from data and make predictions or decisions without having to be programmed. So they're gonna, like, from everything that they have, they're gonna just draw out from there and make the idea is that you start letting them make their own decisions. So they would learn from, a machine learning system would start learning from an example or an experience that the whole experience part is very important, because we as humans, we do learn from experience, and up to recently, you couldn't really replicate that in a consistent manner inside machines. Now we're starting to see that because of these large language models, we can see that the machine is improving its own process and it's improving its own performance over time. So the key components are always going to be data, algorithms, and the models. But all of these data, algorithms, and models are going to be kind of secondary to the execution or like what we expect the machine to do. So the idea is that the system will use historical data to look at patterns and then use them to make predictions or decisions when you're faced with something new, something unseen. So this whole field of machine learning is actually applied in every other domain that we mentioned, image, speech recognition, NLP, many others. It's not the same as the end user application for AI business. We're working with kind of like the back end of AI. So OpenAI and Azure are actually related at the moment through a partnership that basically involves OpenAI leveraging Microsoft's Azure cloud computing platform, which is the biggest in the world, for different purposes. And the main ones include hosting and basically scaling out its powerful language models. That was a partnership that was announced all the way back in 2019, and it's been realized as of last year. The main reason here is because Azure gives us a robust and a very scalable cloud infrastructure. And then before that partnership, if you had like logged into ChatGPT and used it before that partnership, you would have noticed that the whole experience was quite different. Like it was slow to load, and it was also most of the time it was the every request that would send out, every query would take forever to, like, when a lot of people were using it, it was really hard to just get some good use of it. So when they partnered in, what they obtained from Microsoft through Azure was this very scalable cloud infrastructure. So OpenAI has utilized these capabilities to deploy and manage all of these services, such as GPT-3, and that collaboration has allowed OpenAI to access all of these computational resources and services that are provided by Azure, and that enables the deployment of more advanced artificial intelligence models on a global scale. Now we can see that there's other companies jumping in on this. Recently Meta, they announced that they were pursuing AGI as well. But on this end, this partnership is basically trying to benefit both OpenAI and Microsoft, because it's going to combine the expertise that lives in OpenAI in developing more cutting-edge AI models with Azure's infrastructure capabilities. And that's going to create a synergy that supports the development and the deployment of a more sophisticated AI application. So I have to note that the specifics of this collaboration are not set in stone. They will probably evolve over time. So ideally, I recommend that you're always checking in on the latest updates from both OpenAI and Microsoft for the most current information concerning their relationship at the time. So all of this always begs the question of, is AI ever going to replace me in the workplace? So we can look at it in one sense. I would say enhancing instead of replacing. That's just, I'm providing my point of view here. So the idea is that AI is going to try and enhance human capabilities. So what we want to do is, even though everything is evolving, we wanted to foster collaboration, not replacing us. Instead of just because jobs are evolving and there's more automation, what I'm trying to say is that AI is basically, right now at this point in the present, AI is designed to augment, not replace. And historically technology does that. We have this fear of being replaced by something that we create. And if you take it back centuries and maybe millennia before, that has always existed. But what happens is that there is a shift and there's an augmentation. There's a replacement of a task, but there's not a human replacement, because it's a tool at the end of the day. And even if it expands to the point where it gains a certain level of consciousness, I'm more optimistic about the whole prospect. I think we can be together, and I don't think it has to be looked at as an enemy all the time. So that has existed across time. Humans and their technology have worked together synergistically throughout history, and there have been more automated tasks recently. But if you think about it, there's certain tasks that you wouldn't like to do repetitively, and maybe some of those tasks could actually harm you. Like if you're working in a factory all day and you're tired and you make a mistake, and that could not be great for you. So what this is doing is handing off some tasks to a machine which doesn't make the same mistakes that you do. There's other errors involved, but they don't make mistakes like we do, where that's the whole assurance here. So when it comes to productivity, it could help you get through the day faster or in a more efficient manner, so that you can not have to compromise your own living because of this one aspect of your day that takes up your whole day. And your decision making process is going to become more efficient as well, and that's going to give you more time, which is this invaluable aspect about life that you can't get any of it back. So we have to acknowledge the potential automation of certain tasks, but also we have to emphasize on how these new roles are going to be emerging, and there's going to be new opportunities within the whole concept of AI development, AI maintenance, and oversight. And we've also become smarter as well. We've become more mechanized. We've gotten used to. I always give this good example. I have 3 kids. My eldest knows how to work with a lot of technology that I think that if at my younger age I wouldn't have been able to learn it as fast as she does. And it's because you're already inside that environment, and you learn that the human brain is still not completely understood, and there's aspects with the whole learning process that are way ahead of what we can create with this AI machine. So the fear surrounding that is I wouldn't say it's irrelevant. You have to take it into consideration, but it's also not something like a doomsday thing. And that being said, we have to stress the unique strengths that humans bring towards workplace, towards the workplace itself, like things that the AI can't, it can't still do it by itself. Things like creativity, things like emotional intelligence, and very complex problem solving. And by complex problem solving, I speak to not mathematical problems. Those are complex because of the structure they have. But real life combines mathematical problems with emotional problems and things that cannot be quantified. So that's what I mean by complex problem solving as a human strength. We can combine quantifiable problems with quality type problems and put them together and find a solution. So what I'm trying to say is just look at it as a tool to complement and amplify our own strengths. And I mean, straying a little bit from it, but the main concern is obviously that shift in the job market. So with the rise of AI, a lot of people say, oh, well, I can't do this job anymore because AI replaced me or is doing it a lot better than me. But at the same time, the job market is shifting, and it's giving you the ability through AI to use the tool maybe to make your life more independent. So now it's super easy to start your own business because you can hand off certain tasks to the artificial intelligence models and say, okay, I don't need that much. So every individual can be their own business owner. That's the brightest star that I see in this future here. And throughout the important thing throughout all this is to always emphasize the importance of ethics. And this has nothing to do with your faith or it has a lot to do with how we interact with each other. So taking into account ethical AI development and usage is super important, and being responsible with AI so that we can mitigate any negative impacts that could come to employment and society. I'm not saying to be blind to the reality of the potential that this technology could have to everyone or for everyone, because there are good people and there are not so good people, and there's people that are good but then have a reaction and may want to use it for something that is not okay. So ideally, you want to encourage a proactive approach to adaptability, and you have to look at continuous learning and continuous reskilling so that you can stay relevant in the whole job landscape. I want to encourage a positive outlook on the future of work with AI. So that's but if you're still concerned, then I will name 10 jobs that could disappear in the next 5 years. These jobs are, these are very manual jobs right now, and they're like slightly mental jobs, but then it's something that doesn't take much time. So these do have the potential to be impacted by AI technologies and automation. So for example, if we look at it from two aspects, we can look at it from a replacement point of view, and then from an enhancement point of view. So if you're working at supermarket and retail store cashiers, so from a replacement point of view, then things like these automated checkout systems and these self-checkout kiosks, they can handle transactions without having the need for human cashiers. So if you look at it from an enhancement standpoint, AI can improve inventory management, optimize product placement, and enhance just the customer experience through a personalized recommendation. It doesn't have to be a whole replacement thing. If you're a telemarketing operator, so now you have these AI-powered chatbots that they can, and virtual assistants that they can handle routine customer interactions. And then what could happen is that, well, okay, they can handle that, and then the more complex queries can be transferred to a human operator. So AI can analyze your customer data to personalize your marketing strategy and improve targeting, making a telemarketing effort more effective. You don't have to like make it obsolete, and you can still have a person next to the machine, because if you have worked with ChatGPT, for example, it makes mistakes, and as of recently, we found out that it lies sometimes. So we still have to reference information. We still have to make sure that it's telling the truth, because it's like a child, it doesn't really still know entirely what it's doing. It's experimenting with different aspects of what humans do throughout an 18-year span. And we kind of figure it out by the time we're 21, some of us, and it's a whole time process, and we're trying to condense that into this like 5-year period. So if you're a receptionist, then a virtual receptionist and can answer calls alongside a chatbot, schedule appointments, and maybe provide basic information, and that's going to free the human worker so that they can do more complex tasks. Things like managing schedules, offering multilingual support, and maybe enhancing the overall efficiency of receptionist duties. The factory operator, I included it here, but we still need to wait for, there's like assembly line factories. There's a very large segment. If you've ever been to an assembly line, there's a very large part of an assembly line that will depend entirely on human dexterity. And so you need robots, like moving human robots, which, I mean, Tesla just recently announced that they had this Optimus robot, which can crack an egg. And that's nice, but you need to replicate that across thousands of factories. So if you look at it from a replacement standpoint, you're going to need automated robotic systems that can perform these repetitive and dangerous tasks like assembly and material handling. So yeah, you would, in this aspect, you would reduce the need for a human operator. But if you look at it from a very objective standpoint, it has more to do with your safety, with your life. So what AI can do in this instance is basically optimize that production process so that you can predict equipment maintenance needs and just basically improve overall efficiency in the manufacturing sector. And hard to believe, but this is going to improve the quality of life of a lot of people that we don't see every day that are working in these places that are kind of dangerous. They're hazardous environments. So that extends to these assembly line employees. Basically, you know, from a replacement standpoint, then robots can be programmed to perform very intricate assembly tasks, and that's going to lead to an increased speed and precision on this. And AI can actually monitor and then adjust your production lines in real time. That's going to reduce downtime, and that's going to improve quality control. If you're a printing specialist, then you can have an AI-driven printer that can handle any complex printing tasks, and that's going to reduce the need for specialized human operators. But if what you can also do is optimize the printing process so that you can maybe improve the color accuracy and enhance the overall quality of a printed material. I would say that the most affected job here is the one I'm about to go into, which is basically a call center operator. Because of the first aspect that has been brought forward with AI is the chatbots and the virtual agents, because they can handle routine queries and they can provide initial assistance. They can transfer complex issues to human operators. So we can do away with the operator, but if you've ever, at one point in my life, I have to just bring this forward. I worked in the medical sector as an interpreter, and there are things that have to do with nuance. So maybe a call center operator person, they can understand maybe an urgent need, the urgency, or maybe the emotion behind the way a person's talking, and that would be considered a more complex issue. So the human operator can take that into account and be enhanced by AI so that AI can analyze the interaction to provide a personalized response. They can predict customer needs, and they can improve overall customer satisfaction. So there's also your basic financial analyst, or your I would say not a bank teller, but just the initial financial analyst job. This one's actually, in my mind, the one that out of all these that I've mentioned, the one that's the most affected, even more than call center, because the AI algorithm can actually automate the whole data analysis process. And it can automate the whole financial modeling process, and it can do the whole reporting task that's traditionally performed by an entry-level financial analyst. If I were to tell anyone that the most effective job is going to be this one, I would, and just find a different career, because it's something that's numerical, it's something that's exact, and that's where AI shines the most so far. AI can process vast amounts of financial data. They can identify patterns, and they can provide insights. And I guess the only side where you get a benefit is that if you use it as a tool, well, they allow the financial analyst to maybe focus on a more strategic and complex decision-making approach. I don't know if you see a pattern of what I'm saying. I'm repeating one aspect, and it's basically complex decision-making, because complex decision-making is something that AI or AGI is not going to cover for a while, because it needs to grow. It needs to get out of the box of context, in the sense that right now we're all feeding it data, and it's using that to create its own models and all that. And until we get to the point where AI can, let's say, create good poetry, then we shouldn't really be worried. So what I want to do is just highlight the importance that even though certain tasks within these jobs may be automated, there's also new opportunities and new roles that are going to emerge inevitably as a result of AI implementation. And again, the human touch, creativity, emotional intelligence, and all these complex problem solving skills are areas where humans still excel. And these qualities are going to likely become increasingly valuable in our current evolving job market. Let's cover some of the gaps and or the opportunities concerning AI. So there's the first thing that we look at is AI development and programming. So there's a demand for AI experts. There's a growing need for professionals that are skilled in programming machines to work with it with different models, and we're gonna need more data scientists. We're gonna need more data analysts because these are gonna be the people that are gonna create and develop more advanced AI systems, building on what is already there, and that takes us to the whole data interpretation aspect. So what we're trying to do is really unveil or bring out more insights from data. So we need more proficiency in programming languages such as Python, R, and you're going to be looking at more demand for expertise with algorithms. And as the AI applications diversify, specialists that understand the intricacies of AI development are going to be in high demand. So you're trying to bring these insights from data to from raw data to actionable intelligence. So bringing it from raw data to actionable intelligence, that's always or has been the role of a data scientist and an analyst, because they transform that data into meaningful information, and they're the ones at this moment that drive most of the business strategies and innovation in the market. So you have to obtain the ability to navigate and analyze complex data sets, which is right now a skill set that's in super high demand. If you're patient with it and you like dealing with data, I just highly recommend that. So we have to take into account that, again, I can't stress enough that we have to look at ethics and regulation. So we're looking at ensuring responsible AI. So with all of these, with the increase of AI adoption, there is a growing need for experts in AI ethics and regulations to guide us in the responsible and ethical use of artificial intelligence. And where are the opportunities here? Okay, so if you're not big on the technical aspect, then you can get into this area here. And your opportunities are going to lie in shaping policies, looking at legislation and frameworks for governance for the ethical deployment of AI technologies. And then we can move on from there into navigating the whole landscape of ethics. So that's going to involve things like cognitive bias, transparency, accountability, creating openings for professionals that have a keen understanding of the nuances surrounding that, and finally, well, companies and policymakers are going to be actively seeking individuals that can balance innovation and ethical responsibility. So as we journey into that, and we look at the human experience, we know that AI can automate a lot of things, but I can't stress it enough. There's the other aspect, sensitivity, empathy. We can't live, we shouldn't live every day just acting like we're the machine, because it's just going to bring down the whole process. A lot of society requires us to be empathetic, to be creative. The whole fabric of what the mental structure of the society that we created, even though it's on a psychological level, it is what keeps us from becoming primitive, I would say. So we have to take that into account, and the best way to do that is through education and training. So now there's a bigger need. This is why we're here, us educators, for educational and training programs that are surrounding that field. So as we journey into that future, into that AI future, we're going to unlock unparalleled opportunities. So we're going to be able to embrace the possibilities and just shape the future of artificial intelligence. That lands on us. That's on the educator to tell the student or tell the listener, hey, we're going forward. We're moving forward with this, but we have to be careful not to stray too much into the right or into the left. Just be steady in the middle with this. So that being said, we do have to take a defensive stance against this new rise of malicious AI. So what we're going to see now, and we've been seeing it recently, now we're using, instead of having your standard hacker that would create a bunch of bots to generate DDoS attacks and just do a bunch of man in the middle and phishing websites, command and control. That also has evolved to the point where now your standard hacker is going to be able to use an AI model to maybe try and brute force itself into not one domain, but various domains at the same time. There are rogue clouds out there, a bunch of servers that work for one nefarious task. And so we need more cybersecurity and defense against all that malicious AI concept. We need more guys, more people that are more on the good side of cybersecurity. One of the main reasons why this job market for cybersecurity has high demand and is still so vacant after all these years is because of I would say the benefit to it. A lot of the people that actually know how to compromise systems, they don't really want to dive into the good side. This is a point of view. So having more people that know about the bad stuff that just defend against it is super important right now with AI, because if there's an aspect where AI is augmenting the capacity to commit crime is with cybersecurity aspects of financial sectors, healthcare. I mean, just recently there was this attack on 23andMe, which is the people that find out your ancestry, and they leaked a bunch of information. And what was behind that was basically an AI powered attack. And obviously they're not going to be open about it because we're trying to sell AI as a good thing. And yes, another opportunity is content creation and storytelling. So the capacity to create stories, art, and music is very valuable and needed. And I know maybe some of you have been aware that AI can create some really cool images, and it can create music. But there's the whole uncanny valley aspect to it. Every time you see these art pieces or these images created by AI, you can see that it's AI. And the reason I feel that it's there, the reason I can see it is because of the rigid machinery behind it. So that's where we excel. We can make things look not that rigid. When you look at a piece of art painted by like Rembrandt. Rembrandt was a master of light, and he would manage to make a painting look like the sun was hitting it in a darkened room. So if you tell AI to replicate one of these pieces, it's going to do it. But our eyesight is going to has been able to see where it's so exact and so perfect that it just throws you off, And that opens up certain questions, like and these are more like moral questions and philosophical questions, like what do you consider perfect? So you might think one of these paintings made by one of these masters is perfect in the sense of the skill that he put in there. And then when you see the machine made painting, you'll say, yeah, it's objectively exact, but it's not perfect because it's missing, the quote unquote the human touch. The human touch is nothing more than, in this example I'm saying, is the time invested into projecting that master's feelings towards his art. So until AI can do that, we're this specific area of creation and storytelling is still inside our realm, and it's not going to go away. I mean, the way that the human mind for the modern human, the Homo sapiens runs, we create societies based on our minds. So we are very creative. We're more creative than what a rigid machinery can do at this point. If we get to the point where it doesn't happen, it's going to be a few years ahead. So diving a little bit into us as ITG and ITG is Interactive Technology Group, as we mentioned before. So we've been around for a while. We were established in 2013. So that was like a decade ago, basically. The company, or this company, our company, has grown into a very seasoned player in the training services, technical certifications, software licensing, and software development industry. We're focused on expanding on our exclusive authorization as the sole training provider in Puerto Rico for Microsoft, and one of the few ones. And that's going to underscore our expertise and commitment to delivering quality education in the aspect or the subject of Microsoft technologies. Our services, they extend strategically across the Caribbean. That includes Puerto Rico, the Dominican Republic, and the U.S. Virgin Islands, as well as in Central America, we're covering Costa Rica, Panama, and Belize. So we have a very large client diversity. We have over 800 clients. So our portfolio spans government entities, small and medium-sized enterprises, and corporate giants. And we've made a significant impact by providing education to more than 10,000 students. So we've contributed to their professional growth and their success. So apart from that, we've delivered over 1,500 training sessions. So our commitment to knowledge transfer and skill development is very evident in this. We are also a recognized Microsoft independent software vendor, or an ISV. So we actively participate in the ISV Success Program, which showcases our dedication to excellence in software development. We are the exclusive provider of training services in Puerto Rico, and that's going to be a testament to the trust that Microsoft places in our capabilities. And we've been, collaborating through the Success Program, and that's going to signify our commitment to staying at the forefront of technological advancements and delivering cutting-edge solutions. So we have all this, geographical reach. So with over a decade of experience and a very diverse client base and strategic partnerships, we are a trusted leader in providing some top-notch training and software solutions. So those are basically our key statistics here. And we use the ERP. So ERP is basically an enterprise resource planner, and what BlockSkill is to us is just this, it's a skill management system. So what we're trying to do is allow the vendor, the customer, the supplier to manage a whole set of interactive and intuitive skills and offerings, so that all of this, we're trying to make education and skilling more affordable and still have the standard, that the global standard that you guys are probably looking for. So within our, just name out a little bit of our functionalities, this BlockSkill platform that we use has its own finance module. It has its own marketing module, multi-vendor course catalogs, course calendar modules, notification modules. It has a student experience side and a customer experience side. As I said, we have this huge user base, 10,000 active users. We are integrated with video conferencing technologies, which is basically Teams at this point, Microsoft Learn, SMPT, and we have a server API. So we've always had this really pretty good score of 9.05 by MTM feedbacks and by metrics that matters. So if you guys are interested in BlockSkill and take a look at it, I highly recommend it. Yeah, it's the idea is that it helps every partner, just plan their resources independently and have their own platform for that. So looking at the future, or looking at aspects that will be oncoming. So we're going to be adding a peer-to-peer shared calendar module so that we can share our course calendar with every potential prospect. We're going to have our own XP module for the instructors. What's going to get updated here is the course registration process, which was kind of like trailing behind, but now we have a more streamlined course registration process. We updated our student engagement tool for measurement, so now we get to see if these participants are actually in the class and just participating. We upgraded our integration with Microsoft Learn, our integration with MTM, and our KPI dashboard as well. There's other feature enhancements on the way, and we're going to be updating you guys on that as we move forward. So let's look at some of the areas where we can collaborate on this. Basically, the first thing is in expertise and knowledge, we can have a more regional focus. So the idea here is for us to possess specialized knowledge and expertise that's tailored for the unique dynamics of the Caribbean and Central American markets. So what I mean by this is understanding market nuances, regulatory landscapes, and cultural considerations. And within this context, we have to take into account industry specialization. So how we can collaborate here. We can collaborate by just demonstrating proficiency in development and implementation of software solutions, and just making sure that the services that we're going to collaborate on align with the technological needs of your target market. Access to BlockSkill. So as I said, it's a very comprehensive training management platform. It's made so that you can efficiently organize and oversee partner training paths, and that includes tracking progress and generating detailed reports to try and assess the effectiveness of training initiatives. We have, our shared training resources, so a very collaborative calendar, which lets us employ a shared training calendar with other service providers. And that's going to ensure that there's a good coordination, and it's going to avoid scheduling conflicts. That's going to obviously foster a more collaborative environment, which allows for resource optimization and a more comprehensive training offering. So we have promotional events. So free webinars for fundamental courses so that we can engage and attract a wider audience. These events not only serve as a marketing initiative, but it also contributes to building a community of learners and professionals. And content access. So we provide access to a network of new providers and educational content. And that's going to expand the pool of resources that's available to collaborators. That's going to facilitate the exchange of knowledge and diverse perspectives. We offer courses both in English and Spanish so that we can cater to a broader audience. And that language flexibility is going to enhance accessibility, and it's going to ensure that training materials are easily comprehensible for a diverse group of learners. So then we can move into our service excellence aspect. So we always adapt to various schedules with flexible service hours. So that helps us accommodate the needs of partners and learners that are across different time zones and work environments, and that will enhance the overall service experience. We can leverage our extensive knowledge in the development and implementation of software solution, and that is going to ensure that the training content is not only theoretically grounded, but also practically relevant to the evolving technological landscape that which we are in. So what we're trying to do is basically combining all of these strengths with our collaborating partners. And the idea is to create a synergistic environment where partners can collectively leverage expertise, resources, and opportunities for mutual growth and success.